We go. All right. We are live right now, Ronnie. Good morning out there. You're out there, and is it raining out there for you today?
Yeah, it's coming down, not too hard. Yeah. I mean, it's raining for California.
Right. Well, it's California. It's California rain.
States that we like that's nothing.
Right.
But no, it's good. It's coming down a little bit.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah, the Georgia rain's a little bit different. It's torrential, you know. It comes down like buckets. I don't know. Is it like that in Hawaii when you go?
Yeah, oh well, we get rains, but they come and go. There are a lot of them, but you know they can dump pretty hard because of the humidity. But 30 minutes later, it could be sunshine. So, and no one's gonna listen about rain in Hawaii. I mean, I might as well listen. You know, you're like whatever, dude.
You know, my son, when he went on vacation there, he went there to Hawaii. Michael is built for Hawaii, just so you know. He's just so laid back, and he had the best time there.
Yeah,
you know, just got along with the locals and just, hey, Dad, you know, it's just, I'm just chilling. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. He's
like home, sweet home.
Yeah. I mean, he loved it, man. He was all up in it. So, and I don't know if you know Kathy's sons now. He's stationed there in Hawaii right now. He's stationed
nice.
The Army out there. So
that's a sweet gig.
Yeah, it makes your time go by, you know, out there for sure. So, all right, so we got a couple listeners on. So I'm going to introduce you. This is so everybody knows you because I talk about you quite often. They may have not met you, but this is more of my personal coach, life coach, you know, and we'll talk about how we met. This is Ronny Camacho, the world famous Ronny.
There he goes.
It's you know, I know I'm going to get it after here. You know, I know you're marking it all up, saying we're going to have a conversation.
I'm taking notes.
That's funny.
Did you get that? Okay, you get that right? Okay, good. I got somebody recording this. No.
Yeah. Oh, we do have a relationship, that's for sure. We are laughing, but everybody has no idea why we're laughing. But so here's a guy. So Ronny, let's start here with you. Okay, so let's get some little bit of history from you, where you're from and your family and stuff like that, and what you kind of do now on a day to day.
Okay,
and then we'll break a little bit on how you and I met. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your family and stuff.
Perfect. Okay, my name's Ronny Camacho. I was born in Frankfurt, Germany. That's one thing a lot of people don't know right off the bat. I'm still fluent in German, read it, speak it, write it. My mother's German, Czech. My dad's from Guam. I have two sisters. I have a 28-year-old son. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I have a 2-year-old grandson. So I got everything covered.
Yes.
Pretty much after Germany, my mom met my stepdad, which I don't like calling step because I don't believe in that word. So he's my dad, and we moved to Guam. Lived in Guam for a few years, and then I was then rest of my life I lived in Hawaii. So I pretty much grew up on the islands and in the island way that I like to say. And I moved to California in '99 and started, pursuing. I'm a personal life coach. I'm going on for about 22 years. After I moved to California in '99, started really pursuing bodybuilding a lot more, and did what I did pretty good. And just all in all, I'm a family man. I live here. I live in Thousand Oaks. My gym is in Westlake Village. My office is in Westlake Village. So I'm local. This is home now. I mean, Hawaii's still home, but I've been here 22 years now, so it kind of qualifies.
Yeah, you've been here for a minute now. So how we met, there was we met at the gym. We were at the same gym together all the time. I've always and I remember I watched you for a while. I kind of watched you in the gym. You know, I was one of those. You know, I just kind of went in and lifted. You know how I was. I was kind of quiet. I didn't talk to a lot of people in the gym, and I kind
Mm-hmm.
of watched you for a while. And you know, back then I was a lot heavier than I was now, and so I kept watching, and finally I asked you one time. I don't know why you just carried yourself like a martial artist. I just felt, you know how another martial artist can kind of vibe on another one. And
Right.
I went and asked
Right.
you if you trained, and then you told me that you did. And then I struck it up, and I said, hey, I'm looking to maybe get a trainer, and that's how we came together. You okayed that. You said I'd be glad to do it with you, and then we started down this road, and then it became a lot more than lifting weights. You were with me right through my divorce, right? And that was a hard time. And so I tell a lot of people about the stories of you on something because it became more than just somebody coaching me through and counting off reps. You know, even though we did that, right? I got to work out with you and Stan. You know, two of these top bodybuilders. I get to work out with you guys because we had a relationship, and then we would work out together and we would talk about. I was super angry, right? I mean, I was like Hulk times 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I had really bad self-esteem, believe it or not, and you know, I could fake it on the mat because I was comfortable on the mat, but uh super angry. And then you introduced me to Dr. Green. Uh and that started I actually took 6 months of anger management classes, and and I remember when you sent me that way, and I was in there and I was like, man, I thought I was angry. I mean, these people are bouncing people off their bedpost and stuff, man. I was like, holy criminy. When you go to a group session like that, you get this iron sharpens iron thing, but you're like, man, I'm not quite as messed up as I thought I was. And you know, because a lot of those guys were mandated to go. They had to go. They didn't have a choice, you know. I had a choice, and I stuck to that for 6 months, and that was pretty life changing to give me some not that it took my anger all the way, but it it definitely gave me tools to curve it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it was
Right.
unusual, right? It's unusual
Absolutely.
for a bunch of guys, for a bunch of men to be around and be in a group setting. I didn't think I would like that at first, but believe it or not, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of you find that type A personality men are a lot alike. You know, you get a lot of
Mm-hmm.
type A personalities in there. So
That's what there's a lot of ego involved, right? And once the ego supersedes your right way of thinking, it does a lot of, you know what I mean?
right, yeah, yeah, it was. And then I this one story, just so you know, Ronnie, I tell people this about you quite often on uh what kind of trainer you were, right? And we were, I don't know if you remember this day, but I was just so down on, like, I am trying to work on losing this weight and I could not just get to doing it. You know, I was working out every day, but the weight wasn't coming off and it was really weighing on me. We were on this bicep machine, and you were talking to me, and I'm lifting, and I got tears running down my eyes, and you got tears running down your eyes trying to get me to get through this set, right? And you know, so I tell everybody he felt every bit of what I was feeling. And as a coach, right? Because I'm a martial arts teacher too, it's like, man, you were just right there in that moment, and this is what made you such an awesome trainer. And I was like, I mean, you were right there, tears coming down your eyes, and my eyes, and I was like, that was just one of the, I don't know, a very pivotal point, you know. And then we're years down the road. I mean, we've been together now, so for how long now? I don't. Uh
Ooh,
I
yeah.
mean,
I would
I mean,
say we're creeping on 20, bro. Maybe
right. That's
18.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking because you didn't even have a daughter yet when we first met. Your daughter wasn't
No,
here yet
no,
with
I
us,
was
and
going through a
so
full custody battle with my son.
right, yeah, and so you and I were, we chewed the same dirt as far as going through a divorce thing, and this is why I was really excited about when you talk about being a life coach. This is what kind of takes you different than almost any other trainer that I've ever had, right? It's because you coach me. And just so you guys know, I mean, I was struggling about a month ago. Was it 3 weeks ago? And I was people that know me close know that I'm kind of bottled up, and I had this real issue going on business wise, and it wasn't a relationship thing, but it was business, but it was weighing on me, man. And Ronny Camacho knew I wasn't doing well. I was at 24-hour fitness, and guess who shows up to make sure he talks to me before I go home? And that was you. That was about 3 weeks ago. That same thing, right? Tears rolling, and I'm just like, man, I just want to kill everybody. And so uh, it was a good. I always wanted just to. Now I have a public place to say thank you for being that coach. Because it's been a great
Well,
it's been a
it
great
was
ride.
Mark, it was my pleasure, man. And, as much as credit you give to me in doing it, I give you credit, and you can get all the information available to you, but it's about execution, right? And you really took it on, like to identify some changes that need to be done. A lot of men, particularly A-type personalities, won't do it because we have to show up like we can't show weakness, right? Where in actuality, until we can really show that weakness, we can build, right? So, and the process, but transform your way you're thinking. I mean, look what you're doing, the podcast now. And I was always so excited when you told me you were going to do this because it shows transformation, right? And you know what? As much as you say how I care about people, you care about them the same way, and that's why we link, right? Because you've always given more to others than you've given yourself, and I believe that's why some of, in your eyes, maybe shortcomings that were your shortcomings before, only what you thought were your shortcomings, is because
Sure.
you put everyone else in front of you, right? And you thought of doing something for yourself would be selfish, right? That you'll be taking time away from your family, from your business, from your friends. So you go all in for everybody else, and then you're left with having nothing left for yourself, right? And as the years went on, you really started seeing that by taking care of yourself or believing in yourself doesn't make you selfish. It's quite the opposite. And I told you before, way back, I said, you're going to motivate a lot of people one day. And you gave me that typical Mark look like, yeah, whatever, dude, but, but it's true, man. So I really want to commend you on taking it on because I know it's not easy. And it's a day in and day out battle for everyone, right? And it's just, but your commitment to becoming a better human being, to becoming a better father, to becoming a better instructor, coach, friend, brother, son, right? Everyone that I just listed has benefited from you taking ownership and taking your life back, right? And it's really awesome. So I thank you for the compliment, but I also thank you for being such an amazing person.
Well, yeah, yeah. I have. You know what? We talk about this quite often, right? Because I just told my students this the other night that we have a way of. I can ask somebody what their shortcomings are, and they'll give me a list a mile long. I asked them, "What's your strengths?" And nobody feels they have any. I'm the same way because even listening to it, it's like, but what you just did there, so everybody that's listening, this is how he coached me. This is how he was coached. This is how Ronny Camacho coaches. He is uh, he's not just a counter. Okay, here, let's go over here. It's your personal best. He coaches you through, and this is how you do all your, this is how you motivate most all your private clients. Is that correct? I mean,
Yes,
and
absolutely. And the thing
and
is, it comes. Go ahead.
go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go.
No. Absolutely.
I,
I mean, and I look at every client as its own special individual, right? Doesn't matter what they do for profession, if they're a professional athlete, college, fighter, non-fighter, 84-year-old woman. It doesn't matter, right? I treat everyone as their own template, right? So, and that's just, I don't know. And a lot of that, brother, comes from just having the martial arts background, right? Right? Respect, 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 right? It's just, I use that kind of structure with being able to coach and to get people to put their guard down, where they don't see me as a threat, right? I get that right out of the way, the intimidation part, or build some, why are you training me? It's not about that. I'm like, it's an honor to train everyone I train, because I feel that God brings people in my path, not just for abs, right? Like,
Right.
or how they look, or
I haven't got those
losing
yet.
body weight, right? That's all. Huh?
I said I
Shut
haven't
up,
got the
man.
abs yet. I'm
Stop it.
working
See,
on
there
it.
you go. Okay, so well then, okay, I also know people that have not lost as much weight as you lost, and they will never do it, not because they're not capable, but they are not committed to sacrifice and to do the things it takes to lose what you have lost. Because you talk journey, right? I do what I do for stories like you, man. Like, it's not a, it's man, what's your total weight loss rate? Total.
115.
About. I mean,
100. Yeah,
let's
115
just say
pounds. Yeah.
one. Like, 100 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
People, they milestones are 5 pounds, 8 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 100 pounds. Like, hello, you know what I'm saying? That is income for me to be able to be a part of that transformation and to witness that. That's why I do it, man. To get a person, let's say we're talking about weight loss or anything else for that matter, get stronger. First, you got to get them to believe in themselves, right? So in a sense, I have to earn the client's trust first, so they believe that I can help them. Because I'm not here for me. I'm here for you, let's say, client. So I think a lot of times people are so self-centered about, I can do this, I can do that, but I can't do anything unless a person believes that I can help them.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest my issue, man. I just didn't have a belief in myself. I think when I had those blood clots, I mean, once again, they're you came to the hospital when I was there, and I was laying in that bed and I was like, what the frick, dude? You know what I mean? I mean, my folks, it was hard. It was hard because I could not be here today for sure based on what happened to me there. And it took me another 6 months to get my mindset right to do what I did. You know what I mean? It was not an easy process, and nor is it today. And I think that's probably the message that that's one thing about you, man. You're kind of real when you do it, man. There is no magic formula. There's no magic, right? I mean, I'm sure as a trainer, right? Does everybody ask you what's the magic fat burning thing I can get, or what's the?
Absolutely. Yeah. What can I take to lose? What's the best? They call it diet. I prefer meal plans because I like the word diet, because in my mind that's negative. But because when you tell a person go on a diet, the first thing they think is, oh, I can't eat, right? So to me, I prefer meal plans because you're just planning your meals. It's very non-invasive. So yeah, and I tell them the most effective meal plan is the one you can stick to, right? Because you can you can try anything, and everything will give you a result. Everything. But it's what you can stay on and make it a lifestyle, right? Like you did with keto. Like I talk about you with keto because you like keto, and when I get people ready for shows, keto is not easy, right? And to eat like that, and there's healthy keto and unhealthy keto, but we won't go into that. I'm just saying, I'll just keep it for example. If people are eating carbs, I'll keep it very vanilla. Just that alone will deter probably 95% of people that are trying to do something. Because they'll give you all the reasons why they can't, instead of the reasons they should be thinking about why they should, right?
Yes,
And what you have
correct.
done, I mean, you're a freaking keto guru. Like, I know I don't know everything about keto. I know you dove in deep, and if I ever get, I'll call you. Hey, Mark, what about? Because I know you know it. But
Uh-huh.
it's not that you went to school as a dietitian. See, that's what I mean about commitment. You didn't just listen of what meal plan or diet is good. You did your research. You found out everything about it and how to best utilize it to give you the results. See, people aren't willing to put that work in. Like how can you go from not knowing anything about keto to 2 years later, there's really not much you don't know. You're checking everything. I mean, with your with the measuring everything, and it's
Right.
like,
Hmm.
but that's commitment, right? And you're right. People, they look for excuses instead of looking for results, right? Or the blame game. Oh, it's because I'm married. Oh, it's because I have kids. Oh, it's because I work. And though those might be legit, but not, because guess what? You had all those things also when you're eating like crap.
Right. Right.
So
Yes.
it's just a it's just a choice, right? And so, yeah, commend you on that. I mean, that's 100 pounds again, man. Like when people ask me if, can you make me lose 20 pounds? Can you make me this? I said, well, it's not whether I can make you do anything. It's what are you willing to do for yourself to attain these goals that you come at me with? Because I can help you, but this got to be a team effort, right? Because I don't just
Right.
depend on you and say, you will lose, you know? So,
I wish it was that
so
way.
yeah, I keep it. Yeah, I know, man. But, I try to keep it real, man, because it really doesn't help anybody BSing or sugarcoating it. Because when they start, my thing is, if I BS and sugarcoat it, when they go in their journey and they see it's a lot harder than I made it out to be, it's going to be very discouraging. So I got to keep it real.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's it's yeah. I had some. Yeah, I mean, we had some major talks about that, man, and that's
Yeah,
one thing. So
yeah,
you know, and I think you have a this life goal now because some people may not know your story now. Now you were a flight attendant at what time, correct? And
yes.
and let's
For
talk
American
about
Airlines.
let's talk about why you feel you have this commitment because let's talk about 9/11 and let's why don't you tell everybody your story about how lucky we are that you're still here.
Yeah, yeah. I was a flight attendant for American Airlines, 1989. That's when I started flying. And everyone knows September 11th. And when you work for the airlines, I was a flight attendant and I was based out of Miami and then LA. Um, you can do what's called trades. So let's say if Mark and I were flight attendants and I wanted to fly a different trip, I'll ask Mark, hey, I'll trade you a trip. So for some reason, I had something I had to do in LA that day. So I had a 2-day trip to Boston. And usually every time when I have trips, I let my mom know. I always let my mom know just in case something happens. She needs to know, whatever, right? But
Hmm.
I did the trade last minute. I had something I had to do in LA. So I traded the trip. So the trip originally had me doing the Boston flight, but I just did what we call turnaround. I did a couple of legs with it. I think, I don't even know the flights, but it was near. So I got home, I think, in the afternoon or early evening. Well, that morning, my phone rings and it's my mother, and she's calling. I mean, she was crying hysterically. She was speaking in German, and she kept saying, "Business do, like, is this really you? Is this really you? Is this really you?" And I was like, when you first wake up, you're kind of like, I'm thinking somebody died somewhere. I'm like just trying to wake up. And I kind of chuckled, like, yeah, of course it's me. You hear my voice. She goes, no, is it really you? Then when I start kind of waking up, she goes, turn on the TV, right? So I turned on the TV, and my stations had the same thing. So I'm like, yeah, mom, there's a movie on of airplanes flying into a building. And then I changed the channel and I said, why is there a movie playing it's playing in this station too. And then she goes, that's happening right now. And I'm like, huh? So then, you know how they have the subtitles at the bottom. And I read it, and I just dropped the phone. My wife was up, and she went on the phone with my mom. And it just felt like surreal. So I went to the computer to check the manifest, because right immediately after, you could still get on what we call decks, which is our where all flight crew go on for scheduling. It's all our emails, so to speak.
Right.
And I looked at my flight log, and I'm like, damn, you know, and it just felt like, I don't know. I always felt like I was in this tunnel. And but I checked again, and everything went black. They cut out, you know, they didn't, for the interest of all the flight crew and stuff. So no one knew what the names were. Well, my phone started ringing like for hours, like people I haven't heard of, right? But when it dawned on me, like, I could have been gone, right? And it was a crazy feeling, Mark, because like I took a leave of absence, and the only time I left my house was to go to the gym and come home. And I did that for probably about, I want to say 6 to 8 months, man. I was angry. I was pissed. If I could have signed up to go into service, I would have. Like, I was at that level, because, you know, these were my coworkers, man. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we know each other. It's a family up there, and to hear what they really endured up there before, you know, they went down. Like, to this day, I can't watch anything 9/11. I can't watch anything. Like, if it comes out at home, or a channel gets changed, or I walk out of the room, I can't, man. It hits me too hard. So I don't know. I look at it like a second, I guess, lease in life, right? And during that time, I was going through custody battle, and it was, I mean, it was a very bad custody battle. And then I told my wife, we talked about it, and I wanted to go for full custody, because I figured, you know what, you only got one life, man. If I got another day on this planet, I'm going to do it fighting to get my son. So they kind of triggered that, and I don't know, it just makes me really, you know, passionate now.
So which airplane were you supposed to be on that you did not get on? Which
Boston
flight
flight, the American Airlines, because the American Airlines flight, because one was the United. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one was United. That, I think United 93, I think is, I don't know. I think I told you this before, because I know your story with 9/11, that one of my black belts' brother was on one of those flights that went into the building. Now, that flight that you were supposed to be on, I'm sure, I know your personality. I'm sure, you know, it for months you lay there going, could have I made a difference if I was on that plane? You know what I mean?
100%.
Right.
100%.
Right.
I mean, I'm more about it right now, you know, because it's still fresh, bro. You know what I mean? Like, when I went back after my leave of absence, you know, because you couldn't take anything with you on the plane. You couldn't take any weapons, right? Because the FAA was really, you know, you couldn't take anything. So I would take, you know, the headphones they give you in the airline.
Yes.
So I rip off the headset, and I would have 2 of those cords on me, right? Ready to go, you know? And it was just like, I go back to work, and I'm sitting in my jump seat with my chin down, and I'm watching everyone like a hawk, you know? And it became so like, it didn't come fun to fly anymore, right? I was approached 3 times by air marshals to recruit it, you know, to the air marshals. And one he was pretty high up, but one thing that was a turnoff is that I wouldn't be able to tell my family where I was. You just go, you know, sometimes for a week at a time, whatever. So I passed on that. But after a while, man, it became ugly up there, bro, because, you know, passengers were just they didn't remember. And, you know, and I think that the straw that broke the camel's back was, You know, I had an incident on a flight, man, when I was working first class. And, you know, when you're working first class, if we have time, you get your champagne, your pre-departure before we take off, right? Well, we're trying to leave on time, so we couldn't do the champagne. So there was a passenger, I think he was in 3B. I still remember the seat. And he's just dinging his call button, right? And I go back and I'm like, hey, can I help you? He goes, I didn't get my champagne, right? And I said to him, I said, sir, you know, we're trying to get on-time departure. As soon as we get up, I'll make sure you get your champagne first. And I kind of like, I got you, right? Because it's all good. I walk away and he goes, I guess you don't remember 9/11.
Oh,
so
shit.
I leapt, you know. We're on air, so I gave him a quick departure off his seat into the jet bridge. I'll leave it at that. And you know, it was not pretty, bro. And so then the captain called the feds. They came down and they hog-tied him and they gave him a couple of, it was still very fresh for everybody. So once they heard that he threatened a crew member with 9/11, it was pretty much all bets were off. So at that point, I came home and my wife was like, you know, maybe you should, you know, hang it up. It's just it was like I was on the edge all the time, Mark, you know?
Yeah,
So
I can
then I
imagine.
just, you know, decided to go to training full time, man. So,
well,
and, you know,
and I'm sure you fly the same way because I don't know about you, dude. I like to fly first class mostly. If I can afford it, I always get a first class thing so I can watch everybody coming on the freaking plane. And you know, be close. I'm sure you fly the same way today that you did back then. So yeah, I think that story is just one of those life-changing things. And so you being here, you know, changed a lot of, you know, a lot of lives at this thing. So with that, then you come up, you know, you have this. And by the way, your son was just an absolute beast when he was in school, man. I remember you coaching your boy for football, man, and he is a genetic freak like his dad, if not more, right? And you got to coach him, and of course now I think, did you tell me he's going in the service?
Yeah, he's actually he got accepted into the Navy OCS, which is the Officer Candidate School. So he'll be an officer in the United States Navy, and he's going to be going to boot camp in February and starting his Navy career.
Boot camp. Can you imagine the stories you're going to hear? Because you know he's going to smoke everybody physically, right? So you know they're going to try and smoke him hard, and he's probably going to be laughing on the way. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's just going to go absolute beast mode. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to those stories.
Yeah.
So once we have that, now you have this Rider for Life. Let's talk about this. What you guys see right there is this, you know, RYDR4LY. Let's talk about that real quick because it's on all your stuff.
Yeah, Rider for Life is something back in the day that someone gave to me when I was maybe not doing all the good things I should, but whatever for whoever that I care about, it's no matter. I'll do whatever, right? And that's what on the street, a rider is somebody just your back will do whatever. And it was more like the street kind of way. Then as I, you know, started going through life and had some transformation, so to speak, I started using Rider for Life, like a rider for life, like for people's lives, right? So a Rider for Life is somebody that will do anything for whatever they believe in, right? It doesn't have to be me. This is my brand, but anybody can be a rider for life, their own life, or whatever they believe in, right? So it just always stuck. And Rider for Life, you know, it to me, it's about my transformation. And now everything about me is giving back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is learning, I know both sides of the spectrum. And now I'm choosing for life to be very positive, to be influential, to be motivating, right? And it's not even about me, it's to motivate others to find their inner rider. Because everybody has to ride for somebody, right? Like you for your kids. So that's who you ride for, right? And a
Right.
lot of
Mm-hmm.
like in the streets, gangs, they got riders, that's people they can count on. Well, I want to have rider be also in a positive sense, like you can be somebody else can count on, right? So rider for life is just like it's bringing that, and I'm actually in the works right now and waiting for my final approval for the Rider for Life Foundation, where I'm going to be able to give back to the community. And I do that a lot already, but it's going to allow me to get more resources in order to change more lives, whether it's with veterans, whether it's with, I'm bigger with kids, like kids,
Yeah.
kids is my soft spot. Elderly is my soft spot. So it's like I'm going to definitely be involved in more and getting also more people involved, right? Because I think people want to give back, but they don't have a vehicle, or they think everybody that has a nonprofit is taking advantage of the system. So for me, I'm going to be a very transparent nonprofit where people are going to really see what their nations are making, right? And so for me, Rider for Life, just, what I do with clients, I motivate them, right? I've been doing it for 20 years.
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
mentor kids. I've been doing that for 20 years. I get parents that come to me with their younger siblings to mentor them or to have their back, or they come to me for that. I always say I'm like that bridge between parent and child, right? I'm that bridge. So I know both sides. So a lot of times there's a few things that just go missing that prevent a great relationship between, let's say, parents and their children. And I figure out, or at least do my best to figure out, how to make that bridge come together so they can have a really unique experience. So, Rider for Life it's almost like it's a whole lot of things in one. There's not really one way to pinpoint it, but with the foundation, it's about giving back, doing stuff abroad, doing stuff domestically, doing helping, when I go speak at schools. I spoke at your seminar that
Yep.
a
Mm-hmm.
while back, that black belt seminar. I know it is those kind of things that I love doing because I want to be accessible, but I also want to be able to give people hope. Like we've all had a hard time coming up, but that doesn't mean that I should sit back and watch everybody else not get the cliff notes. So I look at it like I try to give the cliff to life, from my experiences. And if I don't know it, I'll find out. But so that's kind of Writer for Life in a nutshell, if that makes sense a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense because this is how you are. And I think, a lot of people don't really realize. I mean, we've seen a lot of people, right? They do charity work to see, look what I've done. All right. I don't know. You've done some super life changing charity work, right? And I remember one of them that you're telling me about when you went to the Philippines with all those children.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was just
Yes.
that way. And now, isn't it cool when you see other people going and they got your shirt, Rider for Life and stuff on when they're handing out food to them when you couldn't go back? I thought that
Yeah,
was the
man.
coolest thing, right? And
Absolutely.
uh,
It's and I believe that, like, I truly believe in this. Like, this is just the beginning, man. Like, I really feel as strong. If I've really jumped into my faith within the last 4 to 5 years, you know what I
hmm
mean? And you always hear, people say, "Ah, they made a deal with the devil, whatever." Well, I made a deal with God, right? And it's only know what that deal was. But everything that has been transforming the last 3 to 4 to 5 years. I just feel this push, and seeing those shirts in the Philippines and having people ride for me and be part. I want to be part of Ride of Life. That is just me so excited because there's a lot of people that have a big heart, and yeah, you're right. Do it for the pats on the back, and there's always going to be haters, right? There's
Always.
always going to be people like, oh, he's just doing it for him. Well, you know what? If that's you, that's fine. But I guarantee you and I aren't yet together, right? Like you can have those things, but while you're hating on what I'm doing, how about doing something for yourself in your community, right? Because a lot of people that hate, they just aren't willing to roll their sleeves up, right? And it's all good. But I know why I'm doing it. He knows why I'm doing it. And that's all that matters to me, you know? And I'm going to keep doing it. But now it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And we're going to be able to help so many more people, you know, and organizations, or even partner up with organizations for the same, you know, thing in mind.
So when you talk, you know, we know that you volunteer your time at the schools. I know you do. You know, when you get an opportunity to go speak at the schools, you do. And isn't it so tell me your experience of this. This is just what I experienced the other night. I had an instructor group, and I had young ones here too, our assistant instructors. We had 17 people come and take this class, and I talked to them about Jocko's book on discipline equals freedom. And then I read kind of out of his book, his field manual. And then I asked him, I said, does this not make you think, are we really disciplined? We say we teach discipline. Are we really disciplined? Right. And we're going through this and about how to get better in life. And I asked each one of them, I had junior high and high schooler there. I said, have you been in school and been taught that what discipline really is, and you're a good person and how to do it? I said, has not one person said that's what school teaches me.
Right.
Not one.
Right.
You feel the same thing when you go talk to these kids? Why they draw so much energy from you? It has to be.
Yeah, bro, because, you know, teachers call me in to speak to their kids that, you know, they feel a disconnect, right? But a lot of the things, man, they're not being the things that we were taught with morals, respect, those days are gone, right? And so they call me in because the kids respect me. They've looked me up, or they know of me. And it allows me to throw nuggets, right? I just look at it opportunities to throw nuggets. You can change a class in an hour. But what I try to do is I try to throw a couple of nuggets for them to think about, right? And give them hope that things are possible. And I'm very, very open with my story, or some of the things I've been through, depending on what kind of setting I'm speaking at. But drop these little nuggets, right? Because they're not getting these nuggets. And what I've noticed is after my talks, one teacher, she asked a couple of days later for the kids to write something, you know, and I get back. And I'm like, whoa, like, you might think you're not getting through with the nuggets, but you are. And the thank yous, and I can't thank you for saying that. And it just reinforced that these young people not just want to hear it, but they need to hear it, because they're not hearing it very often. And I've gotten positive responses from kids that, yeah, they're like this, like, tell me, you know? And me, look, I'm going to come in. I'm going to say, there's no talking. There's no one on their phone. I'm going to lay my rules down right before I speak, you know?
Right.
Just to let them know I'm in business. But right after I do that, I say, but you have my undivided attention, and you can ask anything you want. And this is an open forum. But if you respect me, I respect you. And that's how I transition to how that pertains to life. Respect. I'm like, you guys want to be respected, but do you respect others? Right? No one's going to respect you unless you respect them. And that's the thing that's missing, right? And so what I try to do is throw little nuggets in. And you know, when you talk to them, you get some kids that are more receptive, some are more standoffish. But a lot of times, the ones that are more standoffish are already processing, because they're liking what they're hearing, but they're not going to show it to their peers because they don't want to look soft.
Right. Yeah.
We know how that is.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. To your point, it's true, man. It really, you know, it's an uphill battle, to be honest with you, man. Like, you know, to get through to the youth now, because they have a different sense of reality than we have, because I got one class I came in and talked to, because a lot of the kids were going to be YouTube sensations, and they look at all the money that these big YouTubers make. Well, that's great, but how many failures are there that don't make it, that don't have 1 million likes or 20 million followers?
That's correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So I tell them, like, if let's say this falls through, what are you going to do? Right? And they just sit there. I'm like, what if we lose our internet for a month?
Right.
Right. So I just throw little nuggets just to get them to think a little bit. So I think, a lot of times it's natural to be like, man, this generation nowadays, they didn't get it, come like us. They didn't walk and slow like us, which is in some sense true. But in some sense, man, they are also not given the tools that we were, right? Or there are no one at home that's talking about respect and structure. Instead, they want to be friends, so to speak. You know what I mean? That causes a lot of problems for the teachers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's good. That's why
right. I feel that it's great for kids to take a martial art from the proper school, because the respect factor, right? I always tell parents, I'm like, it's not about whether they go in the cage or fight or not, but you have another. If you have a good instructor, you have an ally, right? I'm going to tell Grandmaster Cox, if you mess up, like, it's an ally.
Right. Right. Yeah.
It's me. Like, I'm like, okay, don't tell Coach Ronnie.
Yeah. Right.
Right. But it's just an ally.
Yeah. I agree.
Parents
I think that,
understand that it's teamwork, man. It's teamwork. Right.
Yeah.
But
yeah. You've been doing that for so long, as I've been with you, man. And then I've just seen you refine your skills as it continues on. I guess we refine our skills because as we get older, things change. And then, of course, you had a daughter, so that kind of changes your world, right? And that's what changed my world, for sure. Yeah. And then she's a little pistol on top of it, right? So that's just more awesome that she's got that.
Maya, man, Maya, literally, I call her my. When she was small, I called her my little bully. Everybody on social media knew her as little bully. When she got older, she goes, "Why'd you call me little bully?" I'm like, it was not a bad thing, right? It was just, you always wanted your way. But she that little girl lit a fire under my butt, right? Because she looks up to me, right?
Yeah.
So I had to step up my game, right? But I also want to show, for me, man, if I leave this world, I want my kids to know that I left something.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So with Maya, like, I want to make her proud, bro. Like, I want to make her proud. You know what I'm saying? And I want to show her that regardless of how crazy the world can be, you can make a difference. Right. Doesn't matter if people say, these people, I don't care. Right. If I can help out, not for it. And she has that same heart. Like, she's rider for life. She's my biggest rider. Like, she has she wears it. She talks about it. She wants to be part of it. She, and she wants to, she's big about trash, like people leaving trash. I know I'm going to have to do something down the road, like a big cleanup, but she motivates me, man. And I, I want to stay in the loop with the youth because I got to know what's going on, right?
That's right.
You're right. Mm-hmm. I have a 10-year-old daughter. She's right in the mix. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to be uninformed, but that's what's kind of giving me the push, man, that I have my second win, bro. That little girl gave me my second win.
Yeah, she's fun too. I had so much fun teaching her to drive the 4-wheel.
Oh man,
that was so much fun. And it just reminded me when my kids were that age, they're all, it's so funny. I'm watching you enjoy your time with her now. And you see, you're an older dad, which makes the time even more precious. You know what I mean? So this morning I dropped Ariel off. I had to get up at 4:00 with her. She had a 5:00 call to go to work at Kohl's this morning. and I said, I'll take you in. I'll get up with you. And I dropped her off, and I was just kind of reminiscing as I'm watching her walk in, going, wow, she's an adult now. Those days are over, of those times that I got to
always
have.
your little girl though, brother.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 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 I would take a fool out for her for sure. Without a doubt in my mind. So, that's been fun to watch. So,
podcast.
Dads Against Dating. You know.
Man.
The other thing that you do, so if anybody follows you, right, you have this, everybody puts these little motivational things on, including myself. I do it all the time. I got one that's called the Daily Discipline. And here's a funny thing about Daily Discipline, right? I started that thing like 3 years ago, and I wasn't disciplined enough to do it every day. So I was like, I have a daily discipline that I'm not even disciplined to do. I'm like, man, you are such a weak sauce, bro. All right. I'm talking to myself. I'm like, who are you to talk about discipline when you put something up on Daily Discipline and you don't do something daily? Right. And so when I was doing this, I was like, I remembered having this conversation. I was lifting, right? I was in the garage, and I'm like, daily discipline, and I don't even do it. I'm reading this book on discipline, and I'm like, I find so many holes where I don't have it, right? And I'm like, you are such weak sauce. I said, so either shut it down or do it. That's what I did. And so, and so I have somebody that helps me post in there all the time, but you have something every morning, almost every morning, there's something, because you're up at the crack of freaking dawn, right? And I'm like, sometimes I talk to myself, I'm like, you know what? I should make that happen before Ronny gets up, so I can say, Ronny, I got it out there before you this day, but it hasn't happened yet. But you have this, so you haven't had, because everything's a competition, right? And, everything is competitions, it doesn't matter what it says. It just matters I did it first. That's all that matters.
I got you.
And so,
I got you.
But you do this, you do this on a daily, right? So it's always kind of fun to see. And some of them are really hit home, but this stuff like the back of your hand, right? I mean, how many hundreds do you go through, and do you go through them and go, I'm posting that one because it hit me? How many times is it like that?
The thing with that, man, it started, man, where I don't even know when I started. It was a long time. And probably, man, it's like I try to look at motivation quotes every morning, right? And I look at it like feeding, like I have to feed, right? So that's like my ritual. I have to feed, and whatever quote jumps out at me, I post it, right? And I haven't checked likes or any of that. I look at it like, if this can hit one person the way it hit me, we win, right? That's like a win for me. So that's like my ritual, like, and I go through about, because I love it so much that I can go into a quote rabbit hole, and then I'm just keep looking and looking. Sometimes I look up and oh, damn, I gotta get ready to go to work, right? Because I get so entrenched in it. But I would say I'm looking at least at 50, at least.
Yeah.
And for something to jump out, and, it doesn't always mean that if, let's say I put something out, oh man, Ronny's going through it. It's not that. It's like, it's just something that it could hit from a different way. It could hit because I deal with so many individuals, right? And with the work that I do, that sometimes something will jump out that I feel can help someone I know.
Uh-huh.
And
that's why you post some of those for me.
I know it. Nah, you, Mark, come on, man.
Are all the ones that say curve your anger. Are those pointed towards me? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do that for Mark and see if.
Did I say, was that the hashtag MCox? I'm sorry, bro.
That's so funny.
Nah, man, it's but I do really, man. I do that just to throw it out there and to put to be vulnerable, man, because I'm willing to be vulnerable, right? Hey, look, I damn near cried 2 times in your podcast right now.
I know. Stop doing that.
And I don't
Stop doing that. You almost had me
don't
going
care,
with you,
right? Because, bro, the thing is, man, when that's what happened as I started refining with age. I don't care, bro. If this is what I feel right now, I'm going to show it, right? I'm not going to pretend it's not happening. I'm not going to pretend that your story doesn't touch me, man. Like, that's BS, right? I'm not going to pretend that your journey wasn't remarkable and how hard it was and it's not touching. There's enough fake stuff out there that people pretending to care that don't. And it's all good. I say, floats your boat. I get asked, does that bother you? No, it doesn't. Because everyone knows their true integrity, right? I know why I do what I do. And it's only for me to know. And the people that love me and are closest to me know the real. If you want to assume that I do what I do for likes or this and that, then you know what? Then that person has to do some soul searching within themselves because there's a lot of unhappiness. Because
right? Yeah.
What you should do is reach out to me and maybe we can do something together that is really freaking awesome for someone else. Right? And people that look from the outside, they haven't experienced a true, genuine hug, a thank you, a child, from a person in need, from a person living in their car that is just trying to make ends meet, and you give them a bag of groceries and they're going to be good for a week, and they give you a hug and they hold you tight and they cry in front of you and say, thank you. I don't know what I would have done without this. Like, what? Yeah, okay, that's selfish. No, man. Yeah, until you experience, and I know you have those moments with what you do, and even with when a person experiences that, you want more, because it also, as much as I help these individuals, it helps me too, man. It keeps you level-headed. It keeps you grounded. It makes me appreciate what I have right now. But I also know you can lose it all also, right? So it makes me just really appreciate more and want to do more, right? And it's like, it's a rush, bro. It's a rush, right? It's a rush, and it's not, and if I do for likes, there's other things I could do for likes, But
you can flex your biceps. Those get all likes. Everybody's like, listen, welcome to the gun show of Ronnie.
Let me put on some banana boat. Right? Like, oh, best. But no, man, it's I think, man, right? God, man, God gave us a heartstring, bro, to help people.
It is.
And another thing I want to mention on that, brother, when you help people a lot, you also will get taken advantage of, and you will also get burned. And in the beginning, I'll be like, right? But I know as now I just like whatever, right? Because
it's almost expected now, right?
It is, and I believe that he will continue to provide. So for whatever cancer gets removed or a person that took advantage, more will come, right?
Yeah,
and I think it helps in the refinement process.
Yes,
right. It's showing people's true colors that maybe we give people sometimes the benefit of the doubt, even though we see a red flag waving. So now I acknowledge the red flags and say, you know what? Next. Right?
Right.
God bless you. Have a life. You're no longer my circle. Have a nice, what I'm saying? Done. But I think I've got better at acknowledging the red flag, not making them like light pink or tan.
That's Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we've experienced that. Yeah, I've been burned, man. There's no doubt about that. And but I tell you what, man, I don't know. I don't know if I would erase that experience either, man, because I think sometimes negative lessons teach you more than the positive. You know what I mean? It's not that it's
100%.
not, and people like us that are, I mean, we're pretty type A, bro. Okay, but on the same token, you and I will break down for that old person that's just being disrespected, or you see a disabled kid, I can't. It will melt me, you know, and uh,
Yep.
it's just one of those things, man. I don't know. We do share that in common, that this
100%,
heart
man.
you have such a, I don't know what's bigger, is your bicep or your heart. We're trying to figure it out, you know, when you're like,
My heart.
okay, is it what? And so we we'll end with, well, we're coming up on an hour and we'll end here noon because I know you got clients, but
All good.
you know, I see that when you're putting stuff out there, yeah, people don't really know. Until you put some old pictures of yourself up there, just what a freaking beast you were. And now, what people don't realize too, we talked when you were a flight attendant, you were built like that, correct? And you used to tell
Yes.
me the pilot would say, Ronnie, walk up and down the aisle real quick so everybody sees you. I can
Yeah,
just
because
totally
man,
see it,
passengers
right?
are nasty, bro. Like they will yell and snap their fingers at flight attendants and everything, and so if I work the back, you don't even know I'm on the plane. So the flight attendants, it became like this thing. Can you come up here and grab something? So then I have to go to the front and walk through, and then puts everybody on notice that it's not going to be this flight.
I love that. I love that story when you told me about that, where you'd have the pilots or the other coworkers like, Ronnie, just walk down the aisle and pick up some coffee or something. And
100%.
because
Find something to do in the aisle. Like, okay.
you were built just like a shit brick house, right, man? It was like, looking at your old pictures of, but now you're getting ready to turn 50, and people, this is the thing about you, right? I've noticed this about all bodybuilders. There's a discipline in bodybuilding people just cannot understand, right? To know your body the way you do and what it responds to. Watching you and Stan and go, and then all the bodybuilders you coach, right? They can look one way, and then in 7 days they look totally different. It's just an amazing transformation that happens because of what you guys know and how to do that. And then so you're right now, I guess that's your biggest goal, right? Is, hey, listen, I practice what I preach. And of course, it's really easy because you got a wife that cooks freaking awesome. Okay. By the way, and matter of fact, I could go for some more of those turkey burgers. I want to tell her. But
let her know. I just text her.
And so we've watched you, right? You see all the compliments coming to your way. Like you've already started this transformation in your diet and in your workout. Because you're getting ready to turn 50, and we'll end on that note. What are you looking for? What is it you're wanting on your 50th birthday, right? Because I remember when I turned 50. So what's your thought process on it?
Oh man, I know. Once I start doing that, people start speculating. Are you getting ready for a show? Are you gonna do another show? This and that. And honestly, Matt, it's not even that. It was almost like I needed to hold myself, because so busy with so many things that I had to kind of find me a target, right? And I just, for myself, for my own present to myself, is kind of just, be a little selfish in a sense of get to feeling better again, because I neglect myself too, man. Like I don't stretch as much as I should, this and that, and but it was, and also, it's a motivation, bro. Like I have people that think that because you're a certain number, you have to act a certain way. Like I want to be, I'm turning 50, but I'm not like, oh gosh, I'm 50. I'm the opposite, right? I'm like, all right, let's see what I can do by my 50th, right? Or how I can feel by my 50th, or and so that was kind of my motivation for it. And just to, again, dude, it's like indirectly to motivate. Maybe there's one other person that's like, oh man, making food is hard, or this, or eating like this is hard. But when you actually break it down, it's really not that bad. And even in the gym, when I often train clients, they see me go my cooler, they're like, oh, you really eat like this? And I'm like, no, I'm just telling you to do it. You know, but people know a lot of times lifestyle. They say, well, I tell them what I do. I don't keep secrets, right?
Yeah.
I tell them, I'm like, here, this is what I do. Here. The problem is the consistency, right? Because if I know A, B, and C food gives me results, I will only eat A, B, C food, and I don't complain. Like, I need variety because I know what this will do to get me there, right? So I don't throw that in the mix, right? And a lot of people, they get bored, so to speak, and then they need variety. So it means like, I want results, right? Like in fighting, if you know this guy ain't blocking the ridge hand, guess what's coming?
That's right. That's right.
The ridge hand is coming first and foremost. I'm not going to let it come last. So it's the same kind of thing, man. And we're like that. I mean, show me the way and I'll do it, right? If I got to eat, I can tell people, you can eat like this, but are you willing to eat like this? I can give you the meal plan, but are you willing to eat like this Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, when the game's on and everybody's eating popcorn and whatever, right? So it's just commitment, man. But for me, my Fitget, man, I'm breathing. I'm able what I love to do. My family, everybody's good, man. And I'm just blessed, man. I'm truly blessed to be able to do this, right? To be on your podcast. And really quick, I want to commend you on your podcast because just like how you dove into keto, you did into this. And by that, I mean, you're totally committed to podcast. You did everything you're supposed to. You have all the equipment. You have everything set up in a professional way, which shows just you in general. That's who you are, man. You know what I mean? When you told me you're going to do a podcast, first thing I thought was, that was awesome. Because I told you before you're going to be changing people's lives. And for you to do this, it was in that game plan. But I thought, oh, I my language, because I know you're not going to do it mediocre.
Right. Yeah. That's.
So I knew you were going to get the best.
Yeah.
So,
I definitely wasn't going to do
your success, bro. And no, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that. You know, a lot of times my podcasting has to do with how I feel personally or what I'm going through personally, and then the interviewing process. Because I know a lot of people, you know, and there's a lot of people that's changed me, you know what I mean? And so I like to highlight those because you're going to find as a human
it's a
race.
Pleasure, bro. I know you and I could talk for hours, man.
Oh,
and it's a pleasure to be on your podcast, bro.
Yeah,
I'm always here for you. You know that.
Yeah, that's never been a contention at all. I mean, I can call you at midnight and you'll be on the way. But yeah, we have a special friendship for sure. But I wanted to, highlight a little bit more of how you coach and stuff like that, because it's, there's been a change. I mean, we've had some serious talks. I mean, trying to curve my intensity was, only another man that understands that same kind of intensity and stuff like that can help you curve it. You know what I mean? It's not, I'm not going to listen. I'm not here. Me personally, I mean, I'll just be real. I'm not going to listen to some beta tell me to calm down. Okay. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. 100%. And, 100%. And so, and you have to find somebody that you respect and love and that will hear you out and definitely, and I get that same thing even with my own students now. I mean, a lot of my students now, they're almost all peers at this point, right? They're all grown men,
right.
Super skilled. I got that small circle of,
100%.
John and Jason Flame and DeRocher and all these guys that Nathan Carlin, all these guys that kind of sharpened me, Carson Fortner out in Georgia. it's just trying to lead by example. And that's what I thought when I was watching your 50th, because people are already seeing that there's a transformation, right? And I think, tell me if you don't agree with this, that there's a difference between, motivation and discipline. Everybody's motivated in the morning. It's by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the motivation goes and the discipline has to step in. You agree with that?
100%.
Right.
100%. Between discipline and commitment.
That's
right?
correct.
And
yeah.
leave the excuses, right? Because right after the lack of motivation comes the excuses to not have the motivation, right? There's always the excuse why the motivation stops, right?
That's correct.
There's always the excuse. And that's all it is. It's an excuse that you've told yourself along, and you believe it so much, and you're drinking your own Kool-Aid. And until you put that cup of Kool-Aid down, you're not going to get the results you desire.
Yep, that's 100% on the money. And I think that's a good way for us to end, because I could sit here and talk to you for another 20, 30 minutes. But I wanted to thank you, Ronny, for coming out here and sharing all this stuff. When we can get settled in, and just so everybody knows that, there's ways that, you can find Ronny Camacho on Facebook. If you guys are looking for trainer, you're not going to find a better trainer. He's in the Ventura County, Thousand Oaks area. If you're looking for trainers, you call him, and he comes highly, highly recommended by everybody. We didn't get into the stars that you've thing. Here's the thing. I know that what's that?
There's a reason for that. Right? There's a reason for that, because at the end of the day, man, what we talk about is it's what was meant to be talked about today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It is. It's just you're looking for somebody that's got some real backbone and is a God-fearing man. I think we both grew in faith in the last 4 or 5 years. When you dived into what you did there at church, you dove in 1,000% there too. It's just been it's been a pleasure to have you as a mentor and in my life for sure. You're a major player in helping me do a transformation. I appreciate it, Ronny. All right.
Pleasure, man. And
all right.
People know where to find me, man. Mark knows how to get me.
Yeah.
And you'll find me at Lighthouse Church, Newbury Park on Sundays.
That's right.
That's where you'll find me. You can always find me there, or Friday afternoon at 5. You can find me at Lighthouse Church doing food, or Ultimate Performance and Fitness in Westlake. That's my home gym. And go to riderforlife.com if you want to reach out to me, or my Instagram, Rider for Life, or Facebook, or just say hi. All good. Yeah. But
I'll put all that.
Thank you for having me, man. And
I want to put that all in the show notes,
man.
So people can get a hold of you.
Thank you for having me, bro.
You're welcome, Ronny.
Yeah, thank you for.
I love you, man.
And I love you too, bro. And Mark, keep doing your thing, man. Anything I can help with, I'm here for you, bro.
All right, Ronny. We'll catch you soon.